Testing 1, 2, 3. Rochelle, can you hear me?
This meeting of the San Mateo County Harbor District Board of Commissioners, September 17, 2025, to order at 10:01. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Roll call, please.
President Slater Carter,
Present.
Mr. Chang Crawley, Mr. Matoush,
present.
Mr. Zemke,
Present.
Mr. Damarat.
Present.
Thank you. Public comments and questions, a limit of 2 minutes per speaker. And I have 2 speaker slips, and this is not a conversation. This is comments from the public. Let's start with Susie Perkins. Good morning, Susie.
It has now been a month since the Harbor District Commissioners approved entering into an agreement with an engineering firm for the Burnham Strip Overflow Parking Lot project for almost $500,000, despite significant local public opposition. The RFP included a requirement for the design firm to initiate extensive public outreach and workshops to address public stakeholder concerns and gather ideas. We, the public, have heard nothing from the design firm, and the silence is deafening. The El Granada community is happy to sit down with various stakeholders and discuss alternatives to meet overflow needs that do not involve creating a parking lot on the North Burnham Strip. The Burnham Strip is zoned as El Granada Gateway District, not for Harbor District overflow parking or for hotel or restaurant parking. El Granada is not the Harbor District's parking lot. El Granada is not Half Moon Bay's restaurant parking lot, and El Granada is not Half Moon Bay's hotel parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Harvey Galen. Good morning, Harvey.
I'm just here to provide my opposition to this planned parking lot on the north end of the Burnham Strip. I think it's an incursion into El Granada and will cause significant harm to those of us who live in El Granada. I've been here for 37 years, and I think this plan is ill-conceived and ill-advised. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Haggerty, and you're limited to 2 minutes. Thank you very much. Good morning.
There's plenty of time here. Should be more than 2 minutes. I'm here to continue to voice opposition to the Harbor District proposal. The majority of the community is firmly against this. As you know, you all know this, yet you're continuing to move and spend public dollars to design this without even having really clear outreach. Still today, the majority of El Granada and the coast side doesn't even know about this because of your actions or your inactions to do a sufficient public announcement on this. And it should be an escalated public announcement because of the escalation of the damage that it would do to this whole community from Montera to Half Moon Bay, including the visitors. And I want to bring up the majority of the problem will be the traffic impacts that your idea will create. It's unacceptable. It's unnecessary. You refuse to look at options that would not require a crosswalk causing all of this traffic impact. And I want to say that your minutes that you're going to be approving soon for last meeting has no account of the opposition. You're ignoring it. That's wrong. It should be, it probably is illegal.
9 seconds, Dan.
So correct your minutes, and I will bring that up again this morning. So thank you.
You're done. Thank you. Matthew Clark. Good morning, Matthew.
Clark, 53-year resident of El Granada, and I would like to echo what you just heard. The people in El Granada don't want that parking lot there. It's there are over 800 signatures have been gathered by people who oppose this idea, and that's not easy in a town this big. So, and the traffic problem will be worse. Your plan will exacerbate the traffic problem both on Highway 1 with the crosswalk and on Alhambra. And so, I mean, I don't know. You have to come up with some other idea. I think the Harbor District needs to stay on the ocean side of the highway and not bring all that traffic into El Granada and make our lives worse, frankly. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Matthew. John Kroll.
All I want to say, Jim, I'm glad they got the stairs fixed on the beach a while back. I don't know if you've been down there, but it took 3.5 years, but they
Beautiful.
put in a nice staircase to get access to the beach where your bench is down there. From your mom, I guess, was a bench. Anyway, the story is about building a parking lot, and why we're opposed to it is because it's true. It's going to bring a lot more traffic and trash and what have you to this area. As I pointed out before, when there's 3-day weekends, there's a lot of trash all over the place from people, especially after 4th of July. They bring their fireworks and left it out all over. So, and then there was questions about, telling people what the parking lot can be used for. And I believe one of Catherine said that they're going to put signs up. But if you go down to the parking lot that's over there with the skateboard ramp on it now, you'll see that they put graffiti all over the sign where it says no parking. They covered the no part that says parking, So no matter what kind of signs you put up, people abuse that and they don't pick up after themselves, and parking lot be used for a lot of things, not necessarily what it's supposed to be used for. The old thing about leave it as you found it doesn't happen that much around here like it used to. But, the whole idea of bringing all this traffic, and I live right on Alhambra, and I can tell you, people get off the highway and speed like hell down Alhambra. And if there's another parking lot, it's just going to add more parking problems for the locals that live on the streets around here. And, to me, it's fine the way it is.
5 seconds, John.
Pardon?
5 seconds.
I'm just opposed to it, and I wish that you guys would think about it. And I don't think the sign's going to work like you said. All right.
Other public speakers?
We have someone online,
Okay,
Lenny Schultz.
Lenny Schultz. Lenny Schultz, hello, please start talking.
Hello, can you hear me?
You can now.
Oh, hi. Hello, everybody. This is Lenny, a resident of El Granada. I live on right on the front of El Granada there, and have a view of this stretch of the highway, and have to enter on Capistrano to get to my house. My answer to this project is no, 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 no. You have a mandate for public safety, Harbor District. You need to change your course on this one. Your parking lot scheme with its crosswalk across Highway 1 from Sam's to the Burnham Strip will create worse traffic and congestion and safety problems than we already have. A friend of mine did get killed on the intersection of Capistrano, which is where everyone will have to turn to get into this parking lot. The scheme has extreme environmental and aesthetic impacts on the area. All parking should be on the west side of the highway. The Burnham Strip is a treasured strip of land, which has historic significance, the Burnham Plan. You do not have to make another land use mistake. Do the right thing, nix this project. I'm very upset that you had to spend $500,000 to find out that this is a bad, bad, bad project. What's more, it's outside of the bounds of the Harbor District, the property bounds anyway, of the Harbor District. So please do the right thing and do not go forward with this. It's a waste, a waste. It is not beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lenny. Right, do we have any other comments?
No more public comments.
Pardon me?
No more public.
No more public comments, thank you. Then we will move on to the next item, commissioner comments. Hey, Virginia?
So, Jim, I just wanted to thank y'all for doing such a great job of hosting or co-hosting the North Central California Coastal Sediment Coordination Committee meeting on September 3rd. And I understand that Michelle Dragony was helpful in securing the yacht club as well. And so I want to thank her.
She was.
Yep, so I wanted to thank her. I thought the information was very informative, and I think people were impressed with the project when we went on the field trip out to Surfers Beach to see the dredging. And I hope that it helped people learn more about the project and how great it's going to be. And people are so happy about the dredging. But so thanks for doing all of that. And if you can thank Michelle, that'd be great too. And then there was the CMAC conference from September 5th through the 8th, which was fantastic. We had a great turnout, and I think lots of very substantive discussions and panels, and the infrastructure and dredging and just all of the concerns that are shared by ports and ports and harbors throughout California. So Jim, y'all did a great job. If you can thank the CMAC board, I thought it was really outstanding, and I think everyone enjoyed themselves. And I was glad that we were able to have, our paid for dinner, like we paid for our dinners at Pelagic to support our tenants there. And I think everyone had a good time and learned a lot.
Thank you. Any more any more comments from the commission?
I too attended the CMAC convention. I was very surprised by one of the presentations that talked about a study that I don't believe was ever submitted to the district. Was the Battaglia something or the other study ever submitted? And if that person is using that as support and never consulting the Harbor District, I'd ask that we review that individual's participation in the project.
George?
It's just a comment. Bob Battaglia is a contractor to us through Brad Dammitz. So his presentation was on his part of the work that was contracted for that we did look at. So
Right, but the study, which is apparently the Battaglia Matterman study, was not a study that was consulted where the Harbor District was consulted at all. So to use it as something that looks like the Harbor
One
District.
Shoreline hired him to do
I
that.
finished? It doesn't matter. They never consulted the Harbor District that they wanted to take down the outer breakwater.
I know what the study is
That's a
about.
fact. So that's that, and I'm assuming, Tom, that's what you're referring
Yes.
to. And I agree with Tom, by the way. because the harbor district was never consulted about anything that from one shoreline's desire to take down the outer breakwater, which would be disastrous.
Thank you. Bill, do you have a comment?
No.
Good. We'll end the commissioner comments then and move on to item E. Activity reports, general manager.
Good morning. I would like just to highlight the Harbor District on Sunday will be hosting two separate events. One is the harbor or the beach safety run with the Arune Foundation. And that will start early in the morning. And then late morning, early afternoon, we're also hosting the Cabrillo Educational Foundation with their annual fundraiser of the Cornhole Tournament. So we're expecting a few hundred people to come down and enjoy the harbor and participate in those events.
Thank you. Operations, John?
Everything's going quite well at both harbors. Pillar Point Harbor last month was very busy with the squids that were found outside the harbor all the way down to Monterey Bay. At one point, we had 16 semi-tractor trailers lined up to get hundreds of tons of squid off the pier at the pier terminus. So the fish buyers, I believe all of them did quite well with the squid catch. All of our commercial fishers and our charter boats for regular recreational sport fishing did quite well as well with all of the sport fish, rockfish, etc. Fishing was quite good. Therefore, our launch ramps were very busy as well. Even though one of them was closed due to the Surfers Beach dredge project, our staff were down there throughout the very busy weekends, trying to assist all the boaters to get in and out with their trailer vessels. And they did a great job. They only got compliments on how organized the launch ramp was, even though it was at a somewhat diminished capacity. We did have the contractor move all of the equipment over on the busy weekends to where they will open up as much of the launch ramp as is possible. The important thing to recall or remember there is that the Surfers Beach pilot restoration project is primarily so that the idea and the goal is primarily to remove all of the sand that was continued to over years now compromise our launch ramps, where our launch ramps at low tides could not even be used at all. So we are able to already have dredged all around the launch ramp, all the way down to clay. So as deep as they could possibly get in accordance with our permitting has already been done around the launch ramp, and all that sand has either been used over at the eelgrass mitigation area or has already been placed on Pillar Point Harbor or on the Surfers Beach, just south of Pillar Point Harbor. So our staff there, led by Chris Tibby and Harbor Master Chris Tibby and our Assistant Harbor Master Dante Madrigal, have just been doing a great job. All at the same time, obviously, continuing to do repairs to the docks, etc. So I've been preparing quite extensively for the upcoming event Sunday as well. At Oyster Point, the team over there has just been doing a remarkable job as well. They've continued to replace dock boards, repair docks, and electric pedestals. All of the electric pedestals are aged, so they're determining which ones are in the worst condition, and we continue to replace them with new, which all of our tenants over there are very excited about. They also, their Harbor Master James Smith and Assistant Harbor Master Jacob Walding have been doing an excellent job mitigating the challenges with regard to the ongoing construction project, where we are replacing all of the dock entrances to our west docks, 1 through 6, which due to sea level rise and landfill subsidence have been compromised, making it where at low tide or at high tides, our boaters were having to wade through water to get to their boats. We've now removed to furthest west dock entrances completely. They've been demolished and 5-6 dock entrance to enter. That will also end up being demolished as well. And then a temporary entrance will go from the spit to the docks as we move forward with the project. But all of that is an inconvenience to our boaters at present, but when it's all done, the district will have provided brand new dock entrances that will last for decades. Even after we replace the docks, those dock entrances is to be able to be used with the new docks, and the elevation was now be raised to where the city had raised the Bay Trail to, and it'll never again be compromised by sea level rise or landfill subsidence. The team over there have just been doing a remarkable job, and we got nothing more.
I assume that I'm glad to see that they restarted the work on the ramps. Do they still feel they can get it done this season?
Yes, it will. That's something else I did want to mention, that our general manager was instrumental in ensuring that our relationship with South San Francisco remained great. And the general manager was able to talk with South San Francisco kind of at a higher level, I would say, than I could get to. And we were able to expedite the permitting, first the demo permit, and then the actual building permit by the deadlines that the in-water work window for permitting limited us to. Regretfully, we had a hiccup, as all construction projects have hiccups. Regretfully, we did have a hiccup with our contractor believing that as they turned in all of our plans and permitting, they believed that as it said on the South San Francisco website, approved, it was not issued. The permits were not issued. So there was, they just were not used to, frankly, working with government entities as much as we are, I guess. And it just slipped by us regretfully. And it was, we're kind of behind the 8 ball, but the general manager again, with the cooperation and teamwork from South San Francisco, we were able to expedite all the permitting, and it's all been done now. Many sleepless nights, but it's all moving in the right direction, full speed ahead at present.
Thanks, John.
Julie, which is administration and finance.
Question?
George had it.
Do you have an idea of how much quantity has been dredged already and placed out of the total 75,000 to 100,000? Where are we in terms of quantities placed both?
At Surfers Beach, Brad Dammit.
Well, it could be both, total.
We're gonna get an update.
Oh, we're gonna get that. Sorry.
So
Answer your question real quick. He'll give specifics, but I think it's right now somewhere in the vicinity of 15,000 is all. It's
Okay.
it's not anything real significant, and most of that at present has gone over to the eelgrass mitigation. We've not got them all fully rolling on Surfers Beach yet, but we can put up to, by permit, up to 75,000 cubic yards on, or according to our contract, 75,000 cubic yards on Surfers Beach. But we're actually allowed over 100,000 cubic yards on Surfers Beach should we determine the project is going smoothly, and it looks like we may want to bring back to the board a change order to put to increase the allotted amount of sand that the current contractor can put on Surfers Beach. So we've got some flexibility there that Brad can answer to as he gives us our update on Surfers Beach.
Commissioners. The administrative team is very hard at work on basically three big projects right now. One is getting ready for the fiscal year end 24-25 audit. The other is we have an open enrollment process October 1st through the 31st, and there's a lot of changes in our benefit options this year. And then the last item is that we're in the process of managing the district's information technology RFP and reviewing all those proposals. And we'll hope to have a finalized decision to bring to the board recommendation in November. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, moving on to the consent agenda, item F, we have 6 items, bills and claims, Van Hoff, minutes, regular board meeting for August 20, monthly capital project update, Moran, personal electric vehicle vessel charging policy. This is for the crew from Van Hoff, and Ocean Safety and Science Center at Pillar Point Harbor ad hoc committee report.
Point of information, the
Excuse
minutes
me, you have,
do not include from the RFP.
I am going to ask you
not
to
include
leave.
Opposition.
I am asking you to leave. You are interrupting this. You were not called on to speak, and you need to leave for interruption.
Information.
Point of information, bye-bye. So do we have any items anybody wants to remove? Well, thank you. Well, let's have a motion and a second.
To approve the consent calendar.
Thank you. Thank you. That was Virginia and Tom. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Chang Carlli,
Aye.
Commissioner Mathush,
Aye.
Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Domrat.
Thank you. Moving on to item G, for the items for discussion. Surfers Beach update. Jim? I'm sorry, John.
Our monthly update, we've got Brad Damitz, who's been leading the charge with coastal engineering and the project management since its conception. Brad, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Brad's going to give us an update on the project.
Okay. Oops, let me just go back here. Okay, everybody see my screen?
Yes.
You see the district logo.
All we can see.
Okay, let's try that again.
Which screen do you want to share?
I'm trying to share the presentation. If I can't get it up, then I'll ask Melanie to maybe pull it, but let's give it a try.
There you go.
Okay, great. All right. Hello, commissioners and staff. I'm going to give you a quick update here on the status of the Surfers Beach pilot restoration project since the last presentation about a month ago. So here's our list of kind of the different tasks that are included in the whole construction process. And as you can see, since the last one, we've got a lot more green, which means those are tasks that have been completed. So the mobilization, obviously completed. Dredging near the boat launch ramps and construction of that eelgrass mitigation area has been completed, as has the transplant of the eelgrass. And I'll show you some more information on that in a bit. Right now, what they're working on is dredging and pumping sand to Surfers Beach, and they'll do the final grading on that. Once that's complete, looking at probably current estimated date of October 18th, then the contractor will begin with the demobilization. So when we left off, we had one dredge operating in the harbor at the last board meeting in August and pumping over to the west side of the harbor for the eelgrass mitigation project. That dredge is still there. Now it is in area 1A to the right of the boat launch ramps and is pumping sand directly over to Surfers Beach. At the last presentation, I mentioned that they had just brought in another dredge and launched it in the water, but it was not operational. Just a couple days after that last meeting, they began using this dredge to pump sand from dredge area 2, which is along the east outer breakwater, and pumping it over to Surfers Beach. This is a larger dredge with a larger volume pump. So we get more sand pumped from this one than the other dredge. And with both of them, we're getting quite a bit of sand moved over there. The eelgrass mitigation site. So the idea here was to create a habitat for eelgrass by bringing up the level of the seafloor to somewhere between -1 and -3, which was determined to be the optimal depth for eelgrass to be growing in this harbor. So that's been completed. As you can see from this bathymetry survey here, the areas in red are higher elevation and the green is lower. That was a success. That was 10,000 cubic yards pumped from off of the boat launch ramp to this area here. And the good thing about that is some of that material was a little bit too fine-grained to be placed on the beach. So this allowed an area to put that sand that need to get off of the boat launch ramp area. One of the important milestones in the project was to be able to determine how that sediment that was placed on the eelgrass mitigation platform settled, because you need to give it a little bit of time. So you can't plant into it and then have it, settle after that. So on 9/27, this is Robert Mooney, our head eelgrass biologist. He went out there and dove the site, gave it the thumbs up and said, yes, it's ready for planting. Again, Commissioner Ciancarelli mentioned the permitting agency site visit. That was a big success. We had close to 40 folks from different permitting agencies, got some really great reviews. The purpose of this was to kind of educate the people who are issuing the permits on what a project like this entails, get their boots on the ground to be able to actually see it with their own eyes. And then in the future, when other projects get proposed like this, they would be better equipped to be able to review that project and issue permits. So yeah, we had representatives from, San Mateo County, Half Moon Bay, and virtually all the different regulatory agencies involved, as well as people coming down from, for example, Sonoma County, who are just interested in the project because in Bodega Bay, they're having similar issues. Duran Beach, and they're considering doing something like this. So all around, it was a really good educational experience. This is that same day. We walked over to the eelgrass mitigation station. So the eelgrass MTS, Marine Taxonomical Services, were the company that did the actual eelgrass transplant. And they had a pretty large crew of people there for the first 2 weeks in September, just working, every day, bundling. What you see here is they're taking the individual eelgrass plants that were salvaged from the dredging areas, kind of bundling them together, tying them to what's kind of described as a biodegradable lollipop stick, kind of an anchor, and then kind of stockpiling them so they can be transplanted. And that's Mina Satari, who gave a good presentation on that process. Here's another day. You can kind of see part of the team. They had a really big crew. And all of this is just to do the required eelgrass mitigation. So that everything up until beginning of September, mid-September, before they started pumping sand to Surfers Beach, was just for the eelgrass mitigation part of the project. So you can see how large just that effort was. Another big milestone. So on August 28th, Vortex Marine Construction, the contractor, began pumping sand, a limited amount of sand, to the northern end of the project area where it's slightly lower elevation. And they did that for about a week and a half or so. You can see here's a photo from September 2nd with both of the dredges running and pumping over there. What we saw drew a pretty good crowd, as you can see, but it was effective in raising the elevation of that beach in the northern project site. And a lot of that sand kind of worked its way down to the southern areas of the project site as well. So that worked out well. As far as volume, approximately 10,000 cubic yards of sand, a little bit less probably, was pumped to the northern end of the project. Here's another photo showing, I think that's about a 3 foot tide or so, and you can see, there's points where you could just walk that entire stretch. So it was a visible difference. You could actually see that sand being accumulated. So the next step, if you remember when I last gave a presentation in September, we were finalizing, working with the county on getting a permit from county parks to use that staging area in the north. And we were able to get that permit. Thank you to county parks. And so they moved those pipelines instead of discharging directly to the north end of the project. They moved both the pipelines down to the southern part of the project. Here's a photo of that heavy equipment staging area as it was just set up. We've got lots of signage on there with contact information, so nobody confuses it with a county project. It's pretty clear that this is part of Surfers Beach. Here's the Long Reach excavator parked in there. And then as far as the engineering and design plans for the project, I just want to point out a couple things before I show the final photos. So this whole area here, this whole oval, is about 1,300 feet, linear feet. That's the beach placement area. That's where sand is going to ultimately be placed. The first part of the project in this little rectangular area here involved kind of taking a light scraping of the existing sand up to 700 cubic yards that was on the beach to build a berm, a containment cell that you pump the sand water mixture, which is called slurry, into this containment berm, and then the water exits, but the sand settles. So that's what you're going to be seeing in these next photos, creating the containment berm there out of the sand that existed on the beach. You can see it from the water side there, kind of how they built it. Over here on the left, you can see the dredge pipe, so they're pumping directly into it. Here you see a view of the sand being pumped directly into that and the seagulls feeding on whatever they can find coming out of that pipe, while the dozer is working to kind of move that sand around to achieve the profiles that are in the plans. So it's a long process, but this is from a couple of weeks ago, just to kind of show you how it works. Another view of that. And then here we go again from the 12th, about 5 days ago or so. And some of these photos, I had to turn this in at the end of last week. So there's been more progress than what you see here. But there's also been a lot of high tides. So it's been challenging to get that sand to stick on the beach. And we're working through that right now, trying to kind of fine tune the methodology so that the contractor is. So that's what it looked like on the 12th. Another photo from the other angle. You can see the sand's really piling up. And at the northern end of the project now, they've got about sand piled up to almost 15-foot elevation, which is the target elevation for the project. So that portion where the wider beach is on the northern part of the project is coming along nicely. Some more photos. And then just for public information, I'm throwing this information up here on the website for anybody that's interested in looking. There's not only a link to a live video cam showing the beach, but also we have virtually every background document, the plans, the permits, bid documents, everything's up there on the website and available to anybody who's interested in getting more information. So with that, I guess I'll turn it over to John for questions. Thank you.
We had a question. I wasn't sure about the accuracy and the answer with regard to total amount of sand onto Surfers Beach now.
Yeah. So total amount onto Surfers Beach. So I mentioned the 10,000 cubic yards approximately that were pumped to the south end. And then ESA is still reviewing some of the surveys that are coming in to determine the actual amount dredged and placed. But we're estimating close to 10,000 cubic yards placed on the north end. So that would make a total of 20,000 out of the 75,000 cubic yards in the plans, or 20,000 out of the total permitted amount of 100,000. And this isn't included the 15,000 that went over to the eelgrass mitigation. So total amount, if you add it up, about 35,000 cubic yards dredged from mostly off of the boat launch ramps, and then some from the East Breakwater dredging site.
And I'd also like to just bring to everybody's attention, it sounds easy, getting the staging permit, the area for us to be able to stage equipment. But Brad and with the help of our general manager and all of his contacts and the cooperation of the county, we were able to jump over a lot of hurdles in order for us to be able to put up this fenced area to stage the heavy equipment during the higher tides and at night when they're not working. And that was critical for the project to be able to move forward. So there was not even 1 day of delay because of the hard work that Brad and the general manager did and the cooperation of the county for us to be able to get that permit expedited. Regretfully, again, like I said, in all projects, we've got hurdles, but there was a little bit of misunderstanding and hiccups getting that permit in place. Like to thank the general manager, and Brad deserves a lot of recognition here. 7:30 in the morning on Sunday, I had texted him, just asking him a question regarding the project, and he was already in communication with the dredge crew. And even though I figured he'd read my text sometime later in the day or maybe respond to me on Monday, he called me at 7:45 Sunday morning. So he's always on the ball, and we appreciate everything you do, Brad. With that, we'll give open questions to the board.
I'll make a comment. I do want to thank Brad and Jim for, getting the encroachment permit finally done. And I just hope that we don't have this problem again, because the county's inability to give that to us almost stopped the project. So I just want to thank y'all for getting that done. I know that I was talking to people as well, and we need to learn from that, Jim, and make sure that that kind of stall, which would actually put the project in jeopardy, doesn't happen again. So I don't know, lessons learned, Brad, because this project has been going on for at least, well, since I've been on the board 10 years, and I know it's been longer. So to have this little hiccup is unacceptable, because that would have, when I'm getting emails from the general manager saying that we may have to stop the project because the county wouldn't give us the permit, that becomes a problem. So I hope that we can take this as a learning opportunity and figure out how we can do this. I know that you've been doing a lot of work, Brad, because this is not a new issue for this encroachment permit. It's something that, based on the emails and everything that I've looked at and read and reviewed, goes back to 2021 and then to May of 2025 when you were giving updates and maybe status changes. But I just want us to have this as a learning opportunity so that we don't deal with this problem again and getting an 11th hour emails saying that, oh, we may have to stop the project because of one perfunctory permit.
Yeah. So lessons learned you're asking about, I agree. It's a learning experience. All indication was that we were going to get that permit. I didn't think there was going to be that issue at the end. But my lesson learned on that one is submit an encroachment permit, give them something to actually say no to, rather than just have the conversation kind of drag on over and over again. Give them actually, here's our proposed plan, and here's a permit, and please respond.
We had that. Anyway, thanks for fixing that. And I just also want to say that there's been a lot of excitement, and I've gotten an overwhelming amount of positive feedback for the dredging. People were, when I was out there too, people were cheering that this was finally happening. So they're looking to, they're hoping, the public is hoping that we'll do something on a more permanent basis too. So I don't know when that discussion will come up, but I just want to give you that feedback that just the dredging and this part, just to keep it maintained. And I agree, I don't want this to become a deferred maintenance issue that's going to cost so much more money if we don't maintain what we're doing now. And that should be a waste, right? This would be a waste because we put in so much work with so many permitting agencies that we want to maintain this so that we don't have deferred maintenance costs and that this is not a wasted, event.
That's very well understood. The project is a pilot project, so that
Understand.
just as you're suggesting, there is a monitoring aspect to it, and then we'll be able to determine its effectiveness, et cetera. I think we don't have to worry that any part of it's a waste, no matter what, even if
No,
that.
I don't mean it's a waste, but if we don't maintain it, all the work and the time and the permitting and the money that we've spent does become a waste because it goes back into, I know it's not going to be 2 years from now, but over time, it will happen.
We're all hoping, obviously, that with the monitoring, we can demonstrate that it's a good idea to be
It's a
able to
great idea.
place the sand that builds up in the harbor just on the other side as it naturally would migrate it to anyway. And I do want to also say that we want to make clear to the public the expectations here. We are going to continue to put at least the entire 75,000 cubic yards on Surfers Beach, that we're removing from inside the harbor. As we're doing that, a lot of that sand, it is expected, will build up as we're moving the sand, and we're going to be building it up almost halfway up, ideally, depending on how the weather affects our project. With the stronger waves, it's making the sand that we're putting there move a little faster. But eventually, we do plan to get to a grade significantly higher. We're at the end of the project, toward the end of October. We're anticipating the project to be done now. We will have a beach there along Surfers Beach. But with wave action and all, it is expected that sand will, over time, we don't know yet how much time, will move offshore, a lot of it, but will still benefit by breaking the waves offshore a little further, to where there still will be more beach there at lower tides, no matter what. And also, a lot of that sand may continue to migrate southerly to replenish beaches to the south, as it normally would do. So all that's going to be monitored as the project is completed and continues moving forward. The general manager was able to successfully get for us actual live stream camera. So that helps us be able to monitor the contractor at all times they're working. When we're not able to actually be there. Our team may not be there, but we're able to monitor it much more effectively. So it's just very beneficial. So thank you again, Jim.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jim. That's been a huge benefit to the project.
That live stream webcam thing, Jim, is fantastic. My husband's like, that is totally cool. Is that really happening? I said, yep. I can see what the weather's like now and what to wear to this meeting, right?
The public's able to view that as well.
Yeah, it's
smharbor.com.
Yeah, it's on the Harbor District website. Yeah.
Do we have any comments from the public?
I just
Sure, go on.
make a few comments on this. We have received some concerns about the noise from the dredging operation and been working to address that. The noise is mainly coming from area A, which is A1, A2, and A3. A2 and A3 have been completely dredged already. We're now dredging in A1, and that should be done within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And as soon as that's done, the dredge will move offshore. So the noise will be even less. We did go out there with a noise monitor to give us the decibel readings, and the decibel readings are way below the contract requirements of noise level. But we have stopped dredging at night to alleviate some of the noise complaints. The contractor did the math and they're still able to meet the contract requirements without dredging at night right now. So that may change depending on operations and actual dredging operations and amounts. But right now, we don't plan on dredging at night. The dredging will mainly take place between 7 and 6 p.m. But so may go over to 8 p.m. Depending on what they're doing at the closing of the day. But they start getting ready to start the dredges up around 7 and get them started before 8 and get going. But that noise concerns right on the shoreline should dissipate now within a week or two.
But can I add to that, Jim? Thanks for working on that, because I got the email complaints too. And I just wanted the board to know that actually the people who are concerned, or the public who's concerned about the noise, they are very supportive of the project. And so they want to see this project done. It's just that, you know, they just wanted to just highlight concerns. And I know that Jim's been working very hard on trying to navigate the contract terms with the unions and work hours. And so I'm glad we're at least trying to, I think we found an okay compromise, but you know, we'll just continue to monitor that. But just know that the public who's complained about this is very supportive of the project. They want to see it done too.
We received concerns from members of El Granado also. So
yeah,
it was an issue. We needed to address it, and we addressed it.
Let me just go back and reiterate what John was saying, because it's a very important point in terms of expectations. What you see now, and you see the beach being built, consider it like you're looking at an iceberg. And in an iceberg, 25% is visible, 75% is not. So that material will not last long. It'll go into the offshore and then disperse from there. So you may start hearing people, oh, the beach disappeared. Well, the beach is really not just what you see visibly, but the other part. So that's, again, stuff that we can look at through measurements. I got some, crossing my fingers, promises from the Corps to rerun their numerical models that would show all that. I mean, that was part of what they wanted to do. And they had for 10 years carrying over monitoring to about last year. You know, and the Corps Research Office kept holding it over. It's under a program called the Regional Sediment Management Program. So we think the money's still out there, but what they would do is take the data that we're collecting now through our contract, and in terms of verifying what the models predict. So that's all things to look forward to. Yeah, I have a, you know, in my Coastal 101 class that I teach, I have a picture of that.
Analogy.
So that it is really good, because you can see a little bit, and then everything is really down there. And that's important for people to realize, that the beach is not just what you see, it's this entire prism that moves and changes a lot.
And that's
Be
part of the
scared if you
strategy of
don't
the
see it.
project, to build that overbuilt berm with the intention that it's going to spread out with the forces of the ocean.
Since we are obviously giving an update on the project today, just transparency, make sure that the public understands too that we're shooting for an end date for the project in late October now. But regretfully, right now as we speak, both our dredges are down. At one point we had one down, we were able to work with them and provide them access over by Johnson Pier to be able to repair their engine, and got that dredge back up again. But regretfully, right now, both of them are down with mechanical, equipment. Regretfully, you have mechanical issues, especially working in this very harsh saltwater environment, and the nature of those dredge heads, which are kind of like a hollow drill bit, having to dig down into, and sometimes hitting rocks, sometimes hitting anchors. It's a very intensive process, which is prone to regretfully have failures. And we hope to get this equipment up right away. And this is just a new development we regretfully heard about last night. Brad, do you have any update? Have you talked to them about when we think at least one of the dredges will get back up again?
I haven't heard for today, but I mean, that's kind of a routine part of dredging is that the equipment breaks down. I mean, it's just working and constantly, and they're constantly needing to make adjustments. I sent a text to our construction manager just now to see what's going on, but I know that the small dredge was down for about a day, and then it was back up again yesterday. So no, I don't have an answer for you, but I don't think it's gonna have a big impact on the schedule of the project.
Perfect, good, thank you.
Have any more questions from the board? Nope. Okay, do we have questions on screen or from the?
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. I did get a response. So the large dredge came back up about 2 hours ago, and the other one is likely scheduled to restart tomorrow morning. So
Great, good deal.
Thank you. That's good. I don't see anybody, or nor do I have any speaker slips. Thank you, Brad and John, for this informative update. I think
thank you.
it's critical. We'll move on to the Half Moon Bay Kayak Company lease. Jim Pruitt.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is that I'm recommending that the board authorize signature on for the Half Moon Bay Kayak Company. They have been operating in Pillar Point Harbor for many, many years under a commercial activity permit going year to year. But for business reasons, they came to us and asked if they can convert their commercial activity permit to a lease. So what we did, working with legal, was convert many of the clauses in the commercial activity permit into a lease, added the additional lease terms that are normally within our lease, and presented it to the board. The lease does provide for some additional square footage down towards the beach, which they've been using for non-exclusively for launching and prepping their kayaks to launch. But it's counteracted by an ADA parking space that we had to put in as part of our coastal trail improvement project through the beach, which took up about the same kind of square footage. So it really became out to be a wash. Their lease payment is set is the same as their cap, $630 a month, and will increase by CPI or 3%, whatever's greater every year into the future. They also have a 3% percentage rent that is charged on them also. So beyond just converting it to a lease and recommending your signature, that's my report.
Do you have any questions, comments?
Have a personal guarantee on this?
Yes.
Okay, Virginia.
So I'm glad that we're able to do this, Jim. I think they've been very good tenants, quote unquote, even with the commercial activity permit. And, you know, people really like the fact that there's this opportunity to have a recreation area. So, I mean, I'm supportive of it, and I'm happy to make the motion to approve the attached lease with the Half Moon Bay Kayak Company in the Harbor District. And basically, it's just converting the cap into a lease.
Do we have a second? Thank you, George. Now, questions from the board? Anyone else? From the public online? No. From the public here? No. Yeah. Plus
the
other
percentage.
fees. That's true. There's
Outdoor
also
space.
an outdoor space and it's.
No utilities.
It's just the space.
And yes, so moving along to a vote, roll call vote, please, on the lease from.
President Slater
the-
Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley, Commissioner Mathush,
Aye.
Mr. Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Domrat.
Aye.
Next item, number 3, Pelagic Restaurant Group. And for the record, is there anyone here or online from the Pelagic Restaurant Group?
Don't think so, but I can't.
Put it into presentation mode,
it's-
please. Permission? This is a request from the Pelagic Hospitality Group. Go ahead, next slide, for rent reduction. The requested action is to receive a presentation on the request by Pelagic Hospitality Group to renegotiate the current lease between Pelagic Hospitality Group and the San Mateo County Harbor District and provide direction to the district's real property negotiators. Go ahead. Pelagic's request is to renegotiate the November 10th lease from 2023 to include rent reduction, the district to pick up taxes, the district to modify parking, and the district to establish a marketing group. Go ahead. All right, Pelagic's finance committee request. So on the 10th, the Pelagic appeared before the finance committee and made specific requests, reduce the base rent to $14,500 from the current $20,500, and to establish a market committee at the district's expense.
Jim, let me just say this, the current 20,500 is an escalation that was in their contract. It didn't start off that way.
No, it started out much less.
Like this.
It just July 1st, it became effective.
Right.
It jumped up to the full amount. So we gave them, or the district allowed 3 years for their business to grow into the full lease payment.
Based on their business model and plan.
Correct. Go ahead. So at the finance meeting and in the written reports and emails attached to the staff report, Pelagic has made several allegations that they believe supports their request to open and renegotiate the lease. Go ahead, first one. The allegation that the bureaucracy of the Harbor District has caused a lack of business, that the general manager has been non-responsive to their requests. The closed truncated fishing seasons have negatively affected them. The district's failure to provide parking. I'm not saying that these are actual facts. These are just the allegations that they made. The district's failure to enforce parking. The district's failure to advertise. The district's failure to properly maintain the harbor and its facilities. Go ahead. The district's failure to fulfill promises made beyond the lease. The district's failure to properly prioritize marketing. The general manager's failure to attend monthly tenant meetings. The district's failure to make formal notification of the new retail center project that has been placed on hold. The district's prioritization of sports fishermen over commercial fishermen over tenants. The district's failure to properly host public events to promote the harbor. At the end of that, again, they request their lease payment be reduced to $14,500. Annually, that would have been a reduction of $2,046,000 to $174,000. Their parking request, when parking at Pillar Harbor is forecasted to exceed capacity, which are fish and crab openings, sunny weekends, and special events, redesignate the set 2-hour parking in Lot A1 to parking reserved for customers of Catch, Pelagic Grill, Mavericks, and Bait Shop. Currently, it is just limited to 2-hour parking, open parking. Parking allowed by the lease. Pelagic and its guests and invitees may park in any unreserved, unassigned parking spaces adjacent to the premises in compliance with the district ordinances and as posted. Landlord shall not be obligated to, but may monitor the use of such spaces, tow any vehicles at owner expense, install any signs or mark the spaces. And then they're the only tenant in tenant row that has 3 parking permits, the park and permit only parking. Third-party food services, otherwise known as food trucks. The lease specifically calls out that landlord, under its sole discretion, may allow mobile or temporary third-party food service providers in the common areas. Pelagic requests that harbor staff should be required to coordinate with Pelagic so that the food trucks do not interfere or reduce business at either Catch or Pelagic Grill. Hours of operation, the lease provides that the premises be kept open for business for not less than 12 hours per day, serving 3 separate meal times to include breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at least 6 days a week. Their request is to open Catch at 11 a.m. Every day, except for weekends, they would open at 9. And then Pelagic Restaurant, which was just recently opened, would open at 10 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Thursday through Monday, being closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. The retail center landlord publicly announced, or they want the landlord to publicly announce that the plans to demolish and replace the existing building are no longer valid. The response to that is that the Pillar Point Harbor Retail Center was removed from the 5-year capital improvement plan during the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget at several open meetings. It was discussed. Accessory interest tax, which is about $6,000 a year. Tenant is required, the lease provides the tenant's required to pay that tax. Tenant shall pay such taxes when due to the levying authority. Their request for that is to eliminate that provision and the district pay for that tax. The lease guarantee, the request is to, I apologize. That's a typo. It's they want lease guarantee, they want to eliminate it. And then the marketing group, they would like the landlord to execute, oh, now I see my headlights are, headings are wrong. For the lease guarantee, they want to eliminate it. And then for the marketing group, they want to stress the importance of a marketing group and have the harbor with them as members, establish a marketing group at their expense. And
That's at
The harbor
District's
district's expense.
then finally, Pelagic Hospitality Group has made several false allegations of dereliction of duty towards Pillar Point Harbor Master. These comments have been made in public as well in social media platforms. These allegations are baseless and false. Harbor Master Chris Tibby is a highly qualified and dedicated professional, highly respected by me as well as members of his profession. The rest of the more details, as mentioned, are all in a staff report and its attachments.
Thank you.
Questions?
Do we have questions from the board?
This was following from a finance committee, so I'll turn it back over to the finance committee if that's okay.
You outlined all of the relevant things that we discussed, so thanks for doing that, Jim. I mean, there's really nothing else to say except that, I would like to put this into, we can certainly have the discussion about renegotiating the lease, but I think that can be done in closed session since it's a lease negotiation.
I think it
Correct.
needs to be, yes.
Yeah, so if the board,
President Slater Carter, we have public comment online.
Okay, well, let's get through
Okay.
the board comment first. and
well,
then
no,
we will-
I'm happy to take public comment, and I was gonna request that we table this to next month if we can have a closed session on this to talk about the lease renegotiation, but I'm happy to listen to what public
Right,
comment
we
is
should listen to the
first.
public
Yeah.
comment and then we will decide what action we're going to take. So please put on the public comment.
Hey, guys, it's David Westendorf Senior and David Westendorf Junior. We just apologize for missing roll call, so no further comments.
Okay,
So no
no
more-
comments from the Western Dwarfs, but they are online. Thank you very much. Okay.
Any other?
Any other comments from the public?
Okay. Well,
Hearing
then that would
none,
be my
let's bring it
request.
back to the board. So you are suggesting we table the item and
Go into, talk about a lease, possible lease renegotiation in the closed session, which I think is an exception under the Brown Act for lease negotiations. Is that correct?
You can have a closed session to talk with your real property negotiators to discuss possible terms of a lease.
And that's what Julie and I are, as the
Yeah.
property negotiations, is asking from the board today is direction on to move forward. Should
That's what I would,
negotiate, or we can go in closed session once it's properly noticed, and then you can give direction in closed session to go negotiate.
I would like to do the latter.
Right now, I have no authority to renegotiate the lease.
Thank
Right,
you.
so that's why I'm suggesting. closed
So
session.
any other comments from the board? Should we take a roll call? Thank you. Let's
Well,
take a
fine.
roll call vote. we need a
Want me to make a
second.
motion?
Make a motion.
So I'll make the motion to table this for closed session next month to talk about negotiating the lease renegotiation.
I would like to also give Pelagic an opportunity to comment next in October. So please put it on the regular agenda and the closed session agenda.
Okay, so I'll make that
I'll
motion
second.
for both of them.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Slater Carter, Commissioner Chang Crawley,
Aye.
Commissioner Mathush, Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Dameron.
Yes.
Carries, let's move on then with table, we have tabled this presentation and lease discussion until October.
So next agenda for
Next,
month,
next
we'll have
agenda,
closed session and an open session.
which
The
is
open
October 15.
Yeah, in the open session would give the Westendorfs or Pelagic Hospitality Group an opportunity to present before we go into closed session. Is that the
Yes,
intent? Yeah,
that's the intent.
if they want to.
If they want to, it's not a demand on their part, but I believe in full transparency and the ability to people to speak.
Is there any additional information the board desires before next meeting?
Ah,
I've heard a
more,
lot of
any
this.
more information? I don't see any hands up.
Well, actually, we go back to when we had 2 restaurants and then a third facility. How are the sales at those 2 different places? And what used to be a bait shop then was something, whatever. Seems to me we're just missing the activity for nightlife at the harbor. What is enticing people to come in now compared to what happened when we had a very active Catch and Harbor Bar and we had Princeton Seafood? We had 2 places serving dinner till late at night. That there's more opportunity. Right now, we've got less opportunity and we have a request before us to reduce even more.
I have a request that I thought we were gonna see today, but maybe it's more appropriate for next month. Is, you know, a lot of the parking areas have been taken by, you know, people who go out on the boats or they're going fishing. And so you would mention the rent report from like quarterly. And I just wanted to see what the comparison is for, you know, the other customers using our, other customers using the services of the tenants because they're parking there. And so what Pelagic has been saying is that there isn't premium parking. You put parking there, it's a parking issue, but it's also what they stressed is premium parking, which is why they put those signs over, they made their little signs and put them over the parking restrictions.
Yeah, the parking modification they're requesting is in the main parking lot. 2-hour parking.
Right, and so, but that's also used by other people who come to the harbor who use other services.
It's open to everybody.
Right, and so is there any way to understand that? Because like in the commercial fishing, right? So like we get a percentage of the weight depending on the kind of catch. So you were gonna get that information, because I'd like to see that as well, to get an understanding of, you know, revenues coming into the restaurant, revenues coming in from other services or recreation opportunities that.
The
are
revenues
provided.
collected from passenger services fees.
Yeah.
It's in the staff report and the revenues from,
But I'm saying bring that in a table to the closed session or even to this meeting, so that we have it on one page. And I would also include whatever we can with the revenues coming in from Pelagic Visa. I wanted to see the comparison, because parking is for everybody, but I understand there are concerns about parking. I just want to see the other revenue streams coming in from other tenants, right? Because, or even our commercial fishing, you know, recreational. So I just want to see what that revenue stream looks like.
okay, I can give, like, we can provide revenue stream.
I would just put it in a table or something that's like a summary, so we can all see it on one page. So I want to compare all of that.
I have a question that I'd like answered, and that is, where do their employees park now? If maybe we could have that answered for us at another date. George?
I could answer that partially. At present, there's been claims that the staff at Flood Point Harbor are not enforcing the 2-hour parking areas that are already provided. And the idea is, of course, and the reason why we have the 2-hour parking signs is that those parking places are for more transient people that are coming in to use the restaurant, or to buy something in the retail center, or just go to the beach for an hour or two. That is what the design is, and the general manager has actually had us put up some more signs during busy times to actually remind people with a bigger sign that say 2-hour only. The challenge there is that even employees of the retail center take up a lot of those 2-hour spaces. Our harbor patrol have a lot of things going on. They go out and rescue people, save lives. They empty trash. They clean the restrooms. They fix our docks. They've got a lot going on. They do monitor those 2-hour parking areas the best they can. You know, we live in a community where it's very difficult to enforce anything. You know, as we drive around, we see people with tents under bridges. It's a challenge to enforce anything. Our staff do the best they can. And to prove that, regretfully, sometimes even our tenants complain to us that we've enforced too much, that there are employees that we notice a car there for more than 2 hours have received a ticket, have received a citation. So our staff are doing the best we can to enforce that 2-hour parking, but it is, make no mistake, it's challenging. We cannot just look at a vehicle or ticket a vehicle and then somehow magically tow it. We cannot tow vehicles. It's just, we don't have the capability to do so. Again, we do enforce the 2-hour parking the best we can. All violations of parking, people that are parked in handicapped areas in handicapped places without a placard, we try to write citations for that. But no, we do not have sufficient funding to staff somebody to constantly watch all of our parking lots. Regretfully, our staff do the best they can, and it would help, obviously, and there'd be more parking potentially available if the retail center, the restaurant employees parked away and walked a little bit, parked in B lot behind where there's usually ample parking. But regretfully, they do, employees, to answer your question, do park in the 2-hour parking. That's been made evident.
Thank you.
There's a lot of creative solutions we could talk about probably for next month, but I guess, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there was a statement, or not statement, but data presented by Pelagic about their square footage that they pay compared to other places. Do we have enough data to show that to be true, to, you know, I mean, that we can have a distribution of information from both the coast side, maybe the bay side, San Francisco? I think they showed some San Francisco data for square footage for this type of operation. Do we need more data, or do we feel we have enough of that?
Yeah, we can get the data if the board would like me to get that data. However, the square footage numbers that were presented didn't take into account where the previous leasing and the sidewalk, they were able to use the sidewalk, but not to the exclusive use of the restaurant. Anybody could have used that sidewalk.
Right.
It was open to the public. They could use it too. Pelagic requested exclusive use of that sidewalk. So that added several thousand square feet to their lease. When you include the restaurant, the original square footage from the restaurant, and then the additional square footage outside in the new exclusive use sidewalk, the square footage comes down significantly and comes down to the average market rates. But I can demonstrate that to you.
I wouldn't spend a lot of time on that, but just maybe a couple of numbers.
Yeah, and in the staff report for the finance committee, I walked through that.
Okay.
Which is attached to your
You might
report.
want to add that staff report.
It's attached in your package
It's in
too.
the staff
No, I
report
know, but
now.
I'm talking about for next month. because
Yes.
we're gonna be Talking about it more in detail.
I'll be bringing back today's entire staff report with enclosures.
Okay, please call them.
David, go ahead. You should be able to talk now. Hello?
Oh, David. We can't hear you.
He is muted. Oh, he's gone. Okay, there's another David now. Go ahead. David?
I'm sorry that we were unable to get onto the Zoom a little bit earlier. I had never mind. It's probably our fault on our end.
Melanie needs to send staff reports with links. Send out a staff report without a link.
The problem we had was that the staff report I had did not have a link in it on my computer, and I did not know that we were supposed to be on this meeting. So my fault. But couple things that I would like to say is I heard a comment earlier that you wanted to know what our sales were. We can provide that. And we can show that on weekends where there's no there's like the salmon season opening, we suffered because we didn't have any places to park, and we can document that with our sales. Secondly, as far as sales are concerned, we were just able to open the pelagic portion just a few days before Labor Day, and we had a great Labor Day because we had great participation, a lot of people in the harbor. Thirdly, on what I just heard was on the square footage situation. The public is allowed on the outside where we have our outside seating. There is no reason that, and we don't exclude anybody from sitting there, whether they're eating anything or drinking anything or not. So the square footage that I measured admittedly was rough because I did it from an exterior measurement of the building, and because I had never seen the copy of the lease we have, there is no square footage figure mentioned. So blame that on me. That's if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong. So other than that, we are, we want to be long-term tenants. We want to be good tenants, and we're looking for a better, more improved partnership with the harbor going forward. And we're completely cooperative with anything that we feel is constructive on both sides. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second, and we have a roll call, right? Yes. Did we do a roll call?
No.
Not yet. I
I apologize, I interrupted.
So let's, could you restate the motion?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically to table this to next month, when we can also have a closed session and to talk about the lease negotiation or renegotiation, which is basically a lease negotiation.
Well, I wanted to have a portion just before, as the last item,
Present for them,
for them to
Pelagic
be able to make their presentation.
So it would be a closed session item and an open session item for Pelagic, for the open session item to make their presentation.
Yes.
So that's the motion.
Okay, and we have a second from George, right? Bill, oh, Bill.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, let's have a roll call vote then.
President Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Chang Corrali,
Aye.
Commissioner Mathush,
Aye.
Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Domrat.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're moving on to H, future agenda items. Do we have any suggestions? We do have a list, right? Somewhere.
What's that?
We have a list of future agenda items that staff maintains, right?
All the future agenda items have either been scheduled or already
I
taken place.
think you're out of future.
We are
agenda
out
items.
of a future
Can we
agenda.
adjourn? I'll make a motion to
No
adjourn.
future.
Second.
Yay, the holiday season's coming anyway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no nays. Meetings adjourned at 11:27.